Hello, welcome back to Veg Plot. We're in the polytunnel again today. We're at the beginning of May and there's so many things to do. And I could be up the allotment and weeding and cutting the grass and things, but I actually need to get all the seeds sorted and dahlias divided and leeks sorted out. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I don't even remember, I had lots of dahlia tubers up here and I've been splitting them, just the larger ones into these bigger trays. Pots, tubs, whatever you want to call them. So these have been split so I can get more plants, but also I can take cuttings. So that's the idea. And the smaller ones have been going into these trays here, and I shall try and fill up all of these with more tubers so we can get cuttings, and we'll do them in the next video. But it's quite a good and easy way to increase your crop of dahlias doing this way. So yeah, we'll be chopping up this big dahlia here in a bit with this lovely knife, and I'll just show you how I do that. Other things going on in here, we've got the leeks which are sown in March, the 12th of March. These are beginning to root out the bottom, so I'm going to divide these up, top and tail them, and put them into larger trays so that they can grow on before planting them out. I'm going to do them slightly different this year, so I'll show you how to do that. But seedlings are all looking good, all coming up nicely. This is the latest batch which we did the other day on the 27th. This is basil. I think we've got some Savoy cabbage, beetroot and chard and things, some sunflowers. These are lovely teddy bear sunflower. I don't know if you've grown these before. I grew them up on the allotment here and they were great, really unusual, but these are a dwarf variety, so I haven't grown these before. And then at the end we've got some Seoul cauliflower. These are an F1. So got to sort all this parsley out, trim the potatoes. Yeah, so there's so much to do. And yeah, tomatoes, they've been out hardening off. So these are all the tomatoes for this year. Some of them have even got flowers on. Look, these are the cherry falls. They're a dwarf variety. But yeah, they're almost ready to go out. And they're quite tall, but when I plant them in the beds down here, I'll plant them to about here. So we'll have about 6 to 8 inches sort of sticking out the ground, and then they'll root from lower down on this stem. So that's the point of doing that. These are the spares. Not sure what I'm going to do with those. Maybe give them away to neighbours and things. But yeah, lots to do today. Oh, I've also been hardening off things outside. So we'll just have a look outside to show you how the things are going out there. It's very important to harden stuff off before you put them up on the allotment, otherwise they can get, you know, trashed by both weather and animals. So yeah, we've got peas in the trays. These need watering. Shallots, we've got all the lovely strawberries that I did from the runners, got about 66 of those. Onions, all doing well, sets, French beans, and then sweet peas, and then we've got some vines, more peas and strawberries. So yeah, it's quite a lovely lot of things to get ready and get up on the allotment very soon. There's, say, lots to do. How's your allotment doing? Okay, right, let's chop up this dahlia tuber. I'll just show how I do that. So on these bigger tubers, you can see we've got all these lovely shoots coming through, and you can see we've got some tiny little shoots just coming through here, and we can split the tuber up using a knife, or we can break it apart sometimes. And if we've got these different shoots and different bits, then they will continue to shoot and give us more than the one plant that we apparently have at the moment. So just going to get the knife in here and cut down through the middle and see if we can break apart this tuber. So you don't want to worry if you get, sometimes you'll get a tuber which will drop off. You've either cut it off or it breaks off, it's rotten and so on. These won't grow if you're new to dahlias, so these just need to go in the compost. But what we're hoping to do is break this apart. There we go. All right, we've got 3 bits here. So look, we've got this tuber here. It needs trimming and tidying up a little bit, but you can see we've got a shoot coming off this stem here, the old stem, and that means that that'll turn into a nice dahlia, so that's good. Once we've cleaned off all this rubbish. And then this one, we've got lots of shoots coming on this one. We've got 1, 2, 3 on that. So that's another one. This bit here, I can't see any growth points, But we do have tubers, so I might just put that in the compost and we'll see if that does anything. And then this one here, obviously we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 shoots coming here. So I could clean this off and just see if I could split that more, because we've got a stem here and it looks like an old stem here. So I might be able to cut that down the middle, and then that'll give us another 2 plants out of that, which will mean that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, if I split this twice, 5 new plants. So all from one big tuber. Right, let's get this in here and see if we can cut this one as well. There we go. So we've got one there with some tubers on that stem, and we've got another one here. So the next thing is you want to look at your tubers and go through them and take off any bits which aren't doing anything. So that's kind of quirky, isn't it? We've got a tiny growth on that one, so that's worth planting too. But yeah, any really silly little tubers or rotten tubers or anything which isn't really adding to the overall goodness of this needs to come off and be cleaned off. So I think that's all right. Probably take this old stuff off. So that's that one. This one here, obviously just want to go through. It's a bit mushy on the bottom there, so we'll take that off. That's all looking good. This one here, again, just tidy up the ends. Any bits which aren't needed anymore, just get rid of them. So you get the picture. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just cleaning them all up, and then what I'll do is put that off to one side and get a tray. There'll be a tray like this, and I'll put some soil in this, and then we'll put the big tubers into here. I'm just using some old soil from these trugs that I had with stuff growing in last year. Just put a bit of soil in the bottom. Put this back up here. Then all I'm doing is getting hold of the tubers and just bedding them in all along here, sort of quite closely. Might fit in. Squeeze it in, I think. Yeah, there we go. Right, so I've just got some more of that soil, and I'm just going to put it in around the edge of these tubers. Give it a little shake, and it'll settle in a bit more. Another shake, there we go. Bed it all in. Make sure there's soil in all the gaps. They're all bedded in nicely. You can just see the shoots coming out, and we'll be able to take some of these off a little bit later when they're a little bit more mature. So I'll just give them water. You don't want to over soak them because there's no drainage holes on the bottom of this tray, so I'm just enough to make it damp and let that settle, and then we'll put this up on the shelf. Right, that's got that dahlia all divided up and put up. So from one big tuber, we split it up, and we've got 5 extras, and we'll take cuttings from some of those later on, so we'll have even more plants later in the year. I'm just going to plant up a few of these sort of cuttings which I took off the dahlias yesterday, and I've just had them in some water just so they don't dry out. But you can see there's a little bit of a heel at the bottom there, a bit of the original tuber attached to it. So I'm hoping that really helps with making sure that these root properly. So what I'm going to do is get a pot, just some average garden compost, and I've got some really old rooting powder here which I don't know if it has a sell by date. Anyway, take that off, dip that in there, give it a tap, get the excess off, and then just push that just in a little way into the compost like that, just in the corner by the pot edge. I'm just going to do that with the others. I'll get a bit more, put that in there, So what I want these to do is I want these to sort of shoot up, take root, and then we can divide them and we'll plant them out into the garden. And this is what I aim to do with a lot of the ones that are in these trays over here. So when these have all shooted, we shall take these bigger shoots off and we shall do exactly the same thing. Put that in there. Right, so that's those 4. Now this slightly larger one, which still has a whole tuber almost attached to it, I'm going to plant that in its own pot at the moment. But yeah, now the thing you can do with this is you can put little stakes in and a little plastic bag over the top, and that helps keep the moisture in. But I'm just going to water mine and put them up on the shelf underneath one of these cloche covers. So I'm just going to do that and sit that on there like that. And I don't know where it's going to go, but we'll find a place for it. Let's get on and do these leeks, shall we? For the leeks, I'm going to use these sort of planting trays, seed trays. They've got holes in the bottom, so I'm just going to put that in there like that. Get some of this soil that we were using earlier. Top that up. Give it a good shimmy. And then what I want to do is I want to give it a little water so it's sort of damp. So just make sure it's all firmed in there. It's because we want the leeks to go into quite a moist sort of soil. Where's the watering can? There we go. Give this a good soaking. I'll just let that drain in a little bit. And I'll grab the leeks. So as I say, these were sown in March and they're doing quite nicely, but they're potential that they'll run out of food in here and they could end up quite starved and they just won't get as big as I want them to be, sort of like a pencil thickness before I plant them out. So I'm going to use a tub, one I prepared earlier. It's just an old bucket basically with water in, and then what I want to do is use the water, and I've done this in other videos before, but use the water to help separate the leeks. And so I can get them out without damaging them. There we go. And then this, if I put this whole lot into the water, the soil, it'll just help dissolve the soil around the roots and separate them much easier. So I'll just put this in here. This is what it looks like inside here now. I've just sort of put the whole lot in. Now if I lift it, you can see it. I'll just give it a little gentle squeeze, and then all the leeks will come out really easily. And then what you can do is you can put these straight into another tub. I'll just get one in a minute, just with water in, so that the roots don't dry out. So I'll just do that now. Just found an old ice cream tub. What I'm going to do is just put some water in there about halfway up, and then all you have to do is just lift your leeks out, beautifully clean, really just so easy to use. It's just such a great way of doing it, and it's also, I think, very gentle on the roots of the leeks, so it's a really nice way to decant your leeks from their compost. And there we have it, all the leeks all separated, and they'll just stay nice and moist in there now while I prepare them, because we're going to top and tail them and then plant them into this big seed tray. So what we do now is we get a pair of scissors, and then what we're going to try this year, something slightly different to what I normally do, is we're going to trim the roots just a little bit, just take the ends off, and we're also going to trim the top of the plants. So get the dibber, make a little hole, and just ease the leek into it. Put the soil compost around it. I'll bring it in a bit closer. So I've got the tray here with the compost and the leeks in this water. So basically, if we just get one of the leeks, a pair of scissors, just trim the roots just to tidy things up a bit and make it want to grow a bit more. Trim the tips off as well, and then, I think I've got a couple here. We'll get the dibber and we'll make a little hole, and we'll just put the leek in, the roots in like that. And so what this means is that the leeks are all separated out, and it means they've got more chance of finding more food and growing bigger than being crowded in this pot. I'm probably not going to get around to this pot today, but they're looking nice in this one over here. We'll give it another little water. I'll try and finish all of these up, and then that will be me done for today. Right, hope you all have a lovely week. I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.